Eating fish has to be more popular in Japan than eating fish in America and Canada, right? But it seems like that's not the case anymore. But why? Something smells fishy here. Hey everyone, welcome back to another, would you like that fried or sashimi style kind of episode. We're the hosts. My name is MJ.
My name is Adam.
And we welcome you back to another round of English immersion learning for your ears and for your soul, possibly, to just be soaked up with all of the things that are English, not just grammar and vocabulary, everyone, but also humor, personality, and culture are things that you can learn and can possibly help you become better with English.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be talking about fish and if it's popular in Japan or maybe not. Let's ask you all the question. Think about it right now, everyone. Did you eat fish today? Did you eat fish yesterday? Have you eaten fish this week? Now, Adam, what was your idea of Japan and fish consumption? How much people eat fish in Japan?
Well, before coming, I knew about sushi. I mean, everybody knows about how Japan and sushi go together like peanut butter and jelly. But I didn't know exactly how much fish people eat and the types of ways of cooking fish until I got here. And it was way more than I expected and way more than I even could imagine coming from Canada. Because, of course, my parents, they come from the Caribbean. So I was used to eating fish in a certain way. It was mostly fried.
It was breaded,
fried, baked in the oven, or maybe seasoned and cooked in a pot. But there are so many different ways of cooking fish in Japan aside from sushi, and it was surprising for me.
Interesting. Yeah, sushi is like the number one thing that people think about when we think of Japanese cuisine.
Yeah.
So in Western countries, if anyone thinks, what about Japanese food? Of course, everybody can name sushi as the big one.
Yeah.
It did make sense when I got here that, sushi is a big part of the Japanese diet, especially when you're looking at how you can get sushi, the restaurants that serve sushi. In America, it's kind of not so easy to, like, there are Asian cuisine places or sushi places, restaurants and whatnot. But compared to Japan, where you have kaiten sushi,
right.
lower budget, easy to get, family friendly style sushi, and it just shows that it's like, wow, okay, a lot of people go here.
Right.
It's very easy to go.
Yeah.
It's at a good price.
Right.
I mean,
right.
the price has been going up a little bit, how these times are.
Inflation.
And it makes sense that that sushi is so common.
Right.
But like you mentioned, it's not only sushi. There's a lot of other styles of fish that I saw that were a little bit surprising. So
and not only just like ways of cooking, it just like hearing sushi, and I was thinking about Western style sushi and Japanese sushi. Like, it seems like there's a lot of education that goes into fish in Japan. Like, people, the average person, it seems, knows more about fish than the average person in North America. Even though we go fishing all the time, we probably have pet fish in aquariums, things like that. Like, I feel like when I came to Japan, I learned so much about just the variety of fish through sushi.
Yes.
And then you learn about the ways of cooking different fish and, how many different recipes there are for fishing.
I want to go back to like learning about fish because for me too, dude, completely in America, I did not know any fish names. I'm going to say fish names. I don't know about like the lifespan of a fish or like how it acts and stuff, how it lives its life. I think that's still kind of lower than basic knowledge information for people.
Yeah.
Unless you live on a coast, especially America's big,
True.
very wide.
That's
Canada,
true.
same, there's a lot of in the middle land where you're very far from the oceans, and of course there's like river fishing
Right,
and stuff,
yeah,
so you
yeah.
maybe know about those fish. And there are aquariums all over the countries, so you can learn about fish.
Yeah.
But names of fish? Dude, when I was in America, what, salmon and
Tuna?
bass.
Bass, yeah. And pike for us.
Oh, tuna, maybe like flounder, but like I don't know
Flounder,
what that
yeah.
was. Yeah.
Halibut?
Okay,
Flounder, yeah.
that's going extreme. I feel like for me, if you were to ask me, like I was walking down the street in
Yeah.
America and you're like, "Excuse me, sir, name 3 fish." I'd be like, tuna, yeah, salmon. I even forgot the one I already said.
Wow, the
So,
bass.
bass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
And when I came to Japan, going to Kaiten Sushi, it was an eye opener of just like learning about different types of fish.
Right.
Because when I looked at fish, I'm like, what is that? Tuna or salmon?
basically.
It's like I'm on an airplane. What are you
Yeah.
having? Chicken
Or
pork?
fish. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of fish? Fish, that kind of fish.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and while I was here in Japan, learning about so many of the different fish names,
Yeah.
because when you go out to eat sushi, you call it by the name
The
of
name
the
of
fish.
yeah, whatever
And
it is.
it just makes sense. And I know, I'm probably you too, you know so many fish names, Japanese fish names,
Yeah.
compared to what they're called and what their names are
In
in
English. Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Hamachi? How do you say that in
I
English?
don't know.
I don't
Katsu
know.
is delicious. What is that in English?
I don't know. No.
I don't know. And maybe it goes to also like the preparation. What types of things are more
Right.
popular
Yeah.
in North America, in America and Canada? Popular fish dishes, popular fish to use for
Yeah.
cuisines,
Yeah.
compared to Japan, where when you look at sushi, it's like everything. So many different types of fish you can turn into sashimi,
Yeah.
which can then be turned into sushi.
Sushi, yeah. Yeah.
But for the US, it's like, how do we cook our fish? Now, of course, this is kind of a stereotype, or maybe just from my experience. You mentioned too, a lot of the times it was breaded.
Right.
You
Yeah.
put egg and flour
Flour,
and you turn
breadcrumbs
it, and then you
sometimes.
put it in. Yeah. And you put it's almost like not tempura, but in that fashion
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
frying the
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
And that's how it's cooked. And those types of fish were for me, dude, I feel like it was always salmon. Like that was your choice. If you want fish, it's 80% of the time salmon.
Oh.
Fried, breaded salmon, which is delicious.
Yeah. I think ours, for me, it was mackerel, which is saba. That's why I knew what saba was in Japan.
Oh,
Somebody asked me saba. I was like, yeah, it's mackerel. Because I ate a lot of it back in Canada when I was
okay.
when I was there. So we had a lot of fried mackerel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for MJ it was salmon, but for us it was mackerel here.
There you go.
For
Yeah.
me,
So
in my
even,
family.
in our areas that we lived, that we grew up, and of course there's influence from the people around us,
Right,
or,
yeah.
of course our families and stuff,
Yeah.
to see what is a kind of common fish to be eaten
Right.
in North America. But if you're going to go to a restaurant, like a bar and grill or something,
Yeah.
if the fish was usually
Salmon.
like,
Yeah.
or tuna steak, maybe,
That's a fancy restaurant, I think.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
That's the high end.
Yeah.
But all these other types of fish had no idea about until I
Yeah.
came to Japan. And even the way that it was prepared was very interesting. I think some of the most maybe shocking types of preparing fish are skewered fish.
Right, yeah.
And just like grilled, like the whole thing is just like grilled.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in an open flame. It's like a
Right.
shish kebab,
Yeah, but it's a whole fish.
And it's the whole fish. What are they called? Aji, I think?
Aji. Yeah, I think it's aji. Aji
Yeah.
fry. No, that's the thinner one. That's a different one. What was it?
Shishamo?
That's one.
Shishamo is a
That's the
smaller one. That's the
one.
one where the spike is, or the rod is through the
fish.
mouth.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Through the top of the heads. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were very interesting. Those I had for the first time, I think, like at an izakaya.
Yeah.
And it was a little shocking because, in America, North America, we don't eat the head at all. I don't want to see the head.
No. Yeah.
I don't wanna see any animal that I'm eating look back at me.
Exactly,
So
with its mouth open, like, "Why?" Yeah,
yeah. It's just
and
imitating you as you're eating it with your mouth open, putting the
basically
food
in
in your
mouth.
mouth. But so this is something that was shocking
Yeah,
and something I do remember, but it can be pretty good. It
yeah,
can be pretty tasty.
yeah,
And it just goes to like the culture of fishing, I should say, in Japan.
yeah,
Japan, again, everyone knows, an island country. So fishing is abundant. It's
right,
everywhere. The coast is pretty close, unless you're like, me, living in Saitama. It's not super close, but still, we can get fish. We can enjoy a lot of
right,
seafood
right.
that is somewhat fresh. But it seems like nowadays, Adam, that fish is becoming a less popular choice of food or meal for Japanese households.
Huh. It's still hard to believe.
Soda News 24, awesome website who covers a lot of crazy to serious to super crazy, wacky things here that happen in Japan. And I was looking at their website and found this one article talking about how there is a decline of fish popularity in Japan. So it seems like from 2001, it was at its highest, at its peak, and it was the most popular at that time. But if we're looking at the times now and the numbers now, it seems like almost about a 40% decline
Wow.
now, or actually, it seems like the survey was done in 2022 that there's 40% decrease has happened in Japan of people eating fish.
Wow.
And there are three key points of why people have stopped eating fish. Now, Adam, can you possibly guess?
Well, I mean, given the current times and with the whole, like, yen being low in price and
Mm,
a lot of things becoming more expensive, I'm gonna say that the cost of fish, because even when we had fish here, it was expensive. It's still expensive, but I think it's just the price. The price of fish has gone up.
mm.
That's my reason number one.
Happy to say, ding, 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 you are a winner.
Yeah, or sad to say
I guess, yeah.
for
Yes,
the fish
because
lovers.
of our economic stance right now, or the situation,
Situation,
I
yeah.
should say, yeah, of the world. Everything is going up, and there's inflation all over
Yeah,
with every kind of product, and that includes fish. So when you're at the supermarket, you're comparing the fish to the types of pork or chicken
yeah,
and beef that you have. It seems like, yes, the fish is more expensive than the others. So this is one key fact or ingredient, maybe, to reasons why that the many people in Japan are not eating fish anymore.
wow.
And it makes sense.
It
Everyone
does, yeah.
has to check their wallets every day, and everyone's going to the supermarkets every day. So it's kind of hard to choose and pick up a fish. I know personally in my house, I think like just the other day, the wife was like, "Yeah, we haven't eaten so much fish. Let's eat fish tonight." And I was like, that is true.
Uh-huh,
And why?
yeah.
I didn't really think about it until, yeah, we looked at the
Risk
prices and kind of compared them, that the amount of fish meat that you can get for, say, like 600 yen, 600 yen,
right.
is a lot less than what you can get for types of
Type of
pork
meat, right.
or chicken,
Yeah,
depending on where it's from and everything. Again, that changes the price range.
right.
But that is one big thing. The price, become too expensive
Yeah.
comparing to other meats, so people are just deciding on the other meats. Another big one is its convenience of preparation.
I can see that.
Now,
Yeah.
when you get pork, chicken, beef, everything's prepped for you. Here's the
Right,
meat.
yeah,
That's all it is.
yeah.
Animal's too big. We can't give you a whole animal. You want to cut that up? No, that's why they have butchers. So you can go there and they have done all the work, and you just get the meat that you can cut up and
Right,
prepare on your own, put in your dish. But with fish, it can be a little more tricky. There's some people who I've traditionally, I think for many years ago, would just get the fish, and especially if you were fishing yourself, can
yeah.
then prepare it
Right,
yourself.
right.
Cut the head. I forgot what it's called. Filleting the fish?
Filleting it?
Or is that just a specific way of cutting?
I think
Might be.
filleting is opening it, right?
Is
And taking the meat out?
ooh,
I don't know, I'm not a
ooh.
fish
But
man.
there's a fish fillet, which I
Fish
think is just
yeah,
like
the
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 cut
meat.
of
Yeah,
the fish.
yeah. Cleaning
possibly.
it?
Everyone
Cleaning it? Is that what it's called?
cleaning the fish,
Cleaning
cleaning the
the
fish, gutting the fish,
Gutting the fish, which is part
Here's
of
all
the
great
cleaning process.
great vocabulary for people who are out there
Yeah.
who are maybe sushi chefs.
Maybe.
And with that said, it's not easy to do. If
Right.
you do not know how to do it,
Yeah.
it is very difficult. It
I-
is time consuming.
It is. And I think it's one of those things, if you are not used to doing it, it's a little bit harder because now you are becoming a fish surgeon and,
Yes.
taking parts away from the fish that might not be
Right.
very appealing to the eyes,
Right.
the visual,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
stomach.
If you go to the supermarket in Japan, there's more fish that are already prepped and
Right.
cut
Yeah. Yeah.
compared to the fish that you can buy whole.
Mhm.
And even if you do go down that route, there is a little window within supermarkets where you can like pass it off to the staff and be like, hey, I want this cut in this style.
Right. Yeah. True.
And then they can do that, right?
Right.
So it's not super impossible, but it does can be a little more difficult than, say, pork or chicken that you just chop up and just
Right.
throw in the fried pan
Yeah.
and then just
Here's
stir
your
it up. And
meal,
it
yeah.
seems like it,
Yeah.
it seems like it's a really easier thing to do comparing to a fish dish. And for me personally, when it comes to fish, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Besides the breaded things that I've eaten since I was a kid, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do that, put it in a fry pan. But different styles of like, what's it called? You got this shoyu, you got the
Shoyu, yeah,
niri
like,
and the sake, right? Yeah. The
nitsuke,
traditional style.
nitsuke.
Nitsuke?
Yeah.
Sakana?
Sakana nitsuke. I used to make that stuff though. I used to be pretty good at that.
Okay. Well,
But
there you go.
it takes a lot of time. It does. To
Right.
watch it and wait for it to boil and then flip it over
Mm.
at the right time. Preparing it.
Yep.
It's a long
Okay.
process.
So there's that. And then, there's even the occasional bone that's in there
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
trying to eat
Yeah.
it. So you got to be careful depending on the fish that you
Right.
have.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen normally with pork or beef.
No.
As well as just the lifestyle changes of our modern families
Right.
around the world, of course. But yes, here in Japan, a lot more of the families have mothers and fathers,
Yeah.
both partners, going out and working.
Yeah.
So this cuts down the time of how much you can make food. All right.
Yeah.
Dinner's prepared. You get home, you're tired. Now you have to prep this fish for your dish.
Nitsuke, it's
man.
gonna take like 3 hours. It's 7 o'clock.
Right.
No
Or I can
way.
just chop everything
Yeah.
up, put it in a pot, and make some curry, right?
Yeah.
Some chicken or
Right.
something. This is another massive reason why a lot of people have been turning away from choosing fish as a dish to eat here in Japan.
Yeah.
Where it seems like the country is been focused on, rice and fish has been a really common thing throughout history.
Right.
And even from the outside world looking at Japan, we see, Japan as a country that really enjoys its seafood,
Yeah.
especially fish.
Yeah.
So this comes as a shock, but hey, we want to hear from everyone who's watching this video right now. If you made it this far, let us know down in the comments. Have you eaten fish? Do you feel that fish is not a choice for dinner or lunch nowadays? And let us know why. And hey, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you want more English immersion focused around things within Japan and its culture.
Yeah. But that's it. We'll see you on the next
step.